Sometimes conflict will arise, and couples say, well, then differences must be bad if it creates conflict. But actually, conflict can be good for a marriage. Combat is not good for a marriage. Healthy conflict can actually help us grow closer to each other and to learn more about ourselves and the relationship.
Hey, it's Greg and Erin Smalley, and today Erin and I want to dive into 3 lies that a lot of couples have bought into. These are strategies that the world, the culture kind of teaches us about marriage that don't work. They sound pretty right, but when we try to use them, they really damage our relationship. So we want to get into these lies and really show you why they don't work.
And today we want to uncover the truth. So we want to dig in to really debunk these myths and discover what really is the truth. If you want to like and subscribe the Focus on the Family Marriage channel, we'd love it because that allows us to make more videos just like this.
So lie number 1, this lie says that I need to sacrifice who I am for the sake of my marriage. And sacrifice is a word that we're all familiar with as a Christian. I mean, this is the hallmark of being a Christian. I mean, God sent his son, sacrificed his son. Jesus sacrificed his life. Who we are as Christians, the part of that DNA is to sacrifice. But often how this shows up, though, unfortunately, in a marriage, I end up sacrificing myself and then trying to give to Erin, to sacrifice for Erin from a place of total emptiness. And the bottom line is we can't give what we don't have.
The truth is, godly sacrifice isn't about losing yourself. Actually, we believe the exact opposite, that we can sacrifice and serve our spouse, but we have to have something to give. That has to come from the place of starting with valuing me, recognizing I'm worth taking care of. This is something that God tells us to do, to care for us, go to him, the source, to refill on a daily, on a moment-to-moment basis, and then we can turn right around and pour out to serve, love, sacrifice for our spouse. But it doesn't mean losing who you are. God created us all uniquely, on purpose, with purpose. It isn't completely eliminating me for the sake of the marriage. It's showing up abundantly full, with lots to give that I get from the source. And it's going back and refilling time and time again so I can turn right around and love my spouse.
Yeah, and I think one of the places that I've watched how this message around sacrifice has gotten a little confusing. Like take Philippians 2, verses 2 and 3. You guys, you know this. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility consider others better than yourself. Great. So verse 4 says, each of you should look not only to your own interests, but also to the interests of others. What's interesting is some of the other translations say just that you should don't look only to your own interests, but look to the interests of others. But I like here the wording is not only should you look to your own interests. So Paul's saying, well, of course, you're going to look to your own interests. That's okay. Just don't stop there. He's actually here challenging us to look beyond just our tendency to be self-focused or even to be selfish, to say, so keep doing that. You're going to do that. Well, why don't you also include the interests of others? And that's really the essence of sacrifice. Erin and I are saying, don't eliminate sacrifice so you can only focus on you. We're saying include you in the mix, include you being well cared for so that you have more to give. So as then you sacrifice, you're now giving out of this place of abundance, and you constantly are going back to that well. God will sustain you, he fills you, and then you can just keep giving out. Then you go back, you take care of you get full again, and then you sacrifice and give in whatever way God is calling you to do. But the lie itself, what we've noticed that people who just believe, I just got to keep giving and sacrificing, giving, they just end up so worn out and exhausted. And I know there was a season in our marriage that I was so worn out, I was so exhausted, I was doing such a poor job of caring for me, all of me, heart, soul, mind, and strength, that then anytime you wanted something, you needed help or whatever, you became a threat. Because I'm like, I don't have anything.
Right.
So stop asking. Quit being needy.
Yeah, I always say it's, Greg comes home after a long day. I've had a long day. And then he wants to sit and have a deep, heartfelt conversation.
Yes.
And what if I have nothing to give? I mean, I've been talking all day as a therapist, but that doesn't happen too often, but I love it when it does. But I need to make sure that I'm ready, that I am full and well cared for. So after sitting with clients all day, I can be intentional about refilling and doing something or taking some space for me to refill so I can pour out both to Greg and to my family. So you might know this is happening in your marriage if one or both of you are walking around exhausted, worn out. Honestly, what good are we if we have nothing to give? The world doesn't need worn out Christians. The world needs Christians that are well cared for, abundantly full, so we can model what it looks like to be healthy, whole individuals first and foremost, and then how to love one another. We're called to it.
Yeah, I know for me, when I have this desire to go into the cave,
Mm.
when down into our basement because I'm exhausted, I'm worn out, I have nothing, and there was maybe years, there was a long
Mhm.
season to where I would just come home, I'd kiss you, hug the kids, we'd have dinner, then I'd disappear because
Mm.
I didn't really know how to do that job of
Mm.
really being well cared for, to replenish, to recharge so that I have something to give. So if you find yourself, wanting just to be alone and off by yourself, that can be another sign that you're not going to the Lord in a way to where He's recharging you and sustaining you.
So maybe you're hearing this video and you're thinking, gosh, I have nothing to give. My spouse is worn out. I'm worn out. We're so disconnected. We want to encourage you there's hope. And specifically, Focus on the Family has a great marriage intensive program called Hope Restored.
Yeah, and this is where you get to go to one of our amazing retreat
Mhm.
centers, some of the best hospitality we guarantee that you will ever
Mhm.
experience, in a way that just relaxes you guys to really open your hearts,
Mhm.
and then just watch how God will use these two amazing therapists in your group to really help you guys figure out what's going on, get deep into whatever the challenges have been in your marriage, and to watch how God can really restore the marriage relationship, to help you guys create a marriage that you both are thrilled with. And we'll link more information about Hope Restored below. So lie number two, this lie says that you need to meet each other's needs. And kind of how this shows up is this idea that Erin, you have all these legitimate needs in the relationship. I have all these legitimate needs in our relationship. And Erin, I think I've told you this before, but it's a good reminder. It's really your job
Oh.
to make sure you're doing the things that I need
Mhm.
to feel loved or to feel successful.
Mhm.
And how, like for me, um, how this showed up
Mhm.
early in our marriage is that there was a big wound that I brought into our marriage that I had just felt so failed. There had been things that had happened before we got married that just that caused me to feel like such a failure. Not that I just messed up or made a mistake, but that I was a failure. And so I had this need, this desperate need to feel successful. I wasn't aware of any of this,
Mhm.
but how that showed up then in our marriage, and this will surprise you. So
Mhm.
this could be a shock. But whenever you were frustrated or something was going on, and you would come to me and say, "Hey, we need to talk about whatever," I would always try to steer that conversation
Mhm.
into, instead of telling me about your feelings or what you were frustrated about, I would try to get her to affirm me. Like, why don't you first take a little bit of time and talk about maybe some of the things you've noticed that I've done right? And seriously, and I kid you not, that
Mhm.
it almost makes you want to throw up saying it now, because I was so like, oh, I can't believe I was doing that. But I was pulling so hard
Mhm.
because in my mind, it was your job to help me feel successful, and that was a need that I had identified,
Mhm.
and they never work, right?
No, no.
Just the way in which we can show up at times, like, "You got needs, I got needs, you need to meet my needs, I need to meet your needs." It's a terrible formula
Mhm. Mhm.
for a great marriage.
Yeah. So this word need, the truth is our needs are actually fully met in Christ. And you think about, what do we really need? We need God. We need oxygen. We need food and water. We need shelter. And so often we're going, I need to feel valued. I need to feel loved. Well, we desire that. And the truth is, we can be fully loved in Christ. We are fully loved in Christ, and I can be fully valued in Christ. I always like to differentiate that we experience these desires, these wants as single individuals prior to marriage. And I can be part of that equation, and God can be part of that equation. So I want to feel loved by Greg. That's a great thing. But when we start going into the territory of, I need you to make me feel loved, how much control does Greg really have if I feel loved or not? He can assist in that. But first and foremost, I'm an adult. I'm responsible for me. And these desires, these wants being fully met between me and Christ first and foremost.
Yeah, so really we're picking on the word need because so often we see couples use that language. Well, I need to be
Yes,
affirmed.
and if I'm not affirmed, well then, gosh, this isn't gonna work out because that's my need. You have to meet that. That does not work.
Well, because I mean the truth is if my like I was talking about early in our marriage, this need to feel affirmed and
Mhm,
feel valued, successful, if that was a legitimate need, then I would be justified to throw a temper tantrum if you're not doing that job.
mm.
And
Well,
that's
that would be fun.
right. But it's not that oftentimes we hear, couples talk about that sex is a need. And therefore, if I initiate, then you need to respond to that legitimate
Mhm,
need. And
mhm.
again, Aaron and I would challenge the notion that sex is a need. It's a strong, strong desire. It's a
Mhm.
preference.
It's a gift.
It's a gift. We
Yes.
want to enjoy this. But to claim it's a need means my well-being is at stake.
Mhm,
If you don't, then, respond to me initiating
mhm.
sex. And it's just not true. I've never heard of anyone on this planet ever dying from not having sex. So please don't hear us. We see sex as this amazing gift from the
Mhm,
Lord
mhm.
between a husband and wife. And he wants us to exercise that gift. And yet to frame it though as a need is just it's not accurate.
Mhm.
And so maybe part of it is for you guys to think about, yeah, what areas or what things, what desires or strong preferences do I often frame as a need?
Mhm.
Because once I hear a need, then I'm thinking, oh, well, then Aaron's well-being is at stake and I need to respond to that. Versus a strong preference, a strong desire is something then that you have choice whether or not
Right.
that you want to invest in the way that maybe I'm hoping that you will.
Well, instead of becoming responsible for it, I can be a great assistant.
Yeah,
And remembering an adult is someone who owns these desires, their very well being. They own that they are willing and able, capable of stepping into that role of accepting the responsibility of caring for themselves. That is the definition of an adult. And there's two adults sitting right here. We are each responsible for that. However, I can be a great assistant.
great.
I mean, if we're just two individuals living side by side, there's going to be disconnection within the relationship. But we both have the opportunity to enter in and to really be a great assistant.
Yeah, so let's put our wants and desires out there.
Mhm,
I can say, Aaron, man, when you affirm me, when you
mhm.
express gratitude, man, what how that makes me feel loved is such an amazing way to do that. But
You
then
said that so well.
thank you.
I
She was
affirm now.
affirming me.
Yeah.
Yes, I did get it. But there's a way which then that's more of an honest
Uh-huh.
request versus a need is a demand. You have to then do this. And that's not how we want to show up. That's the lie that never works inside of our relationship. So lie number 3. Lie number 3 says that our differences are irreconcilable.
Mm,
That's a term that we used
mhm.
often in divorce, that a couple's divorcing because of irreconcilable differences. And the problem is that we then blame the issues. We are saying the problem is the fact that we're different.
Mhm.
That's the problem. We just couldn't get along. We couldn't manage our differences. And we're taking something that God has created so beautifully, so wonderfully, as he talked about the way that he made man and woman so different.
Mhm.
And even said in Genesis that as he stepped back after that creation saying, man, look at what I've done. This is a good thing.
Mhm.
We've taken these differences between us and now we're framing them as something that they're just irreconcilable. So
Mhm.
that's the problem.
Yeah, but the truth is, differences are never the problem. It's all in how we manage them.
Yes.
And so differences are good for a marriage, for a relationship, because we each bring something different to the table. And God created us with those differences. Now, any difference that's out of balance can become a weakness, both to the individual as well as to the relationship. But it really is the issue's never the differences. It's all, again, how we identify them and manage them. You think about the vast number of differences that exist between just Greg and I. I'm more extroverted. I like to sleep in the morning. I have a faster pace. Greg is more introverted. He likes to
Sloth
get up
like.
early. He moves at a slower, more intentional pace. And so it really is, I mean, those things could get really irritating, and at different times they have. But what we've learned to do is to appreciate what we each bring to the table and how beautiful that is for our marriage, because creates a great balance. Sometimes conflict will arise, and couples say, well, then differences must be bad if it creates conflict. But actually, conflict can be good for a marriage. Combat is not good for a marriage. Combat is where we're name calling and we're slinging nasty words at each other, and we're just not showing up,
Withdrawing, yeah.
yeah, as our best self. But healthy conflicts can actually help us grow closer to each other and to learn more about ourselves and the relationship.
So Aaron and I just celebrated 33 years of marriage. So we were going on our just a little celebration trip. And as we're leaving, I don't know if you remember this, but it's
Mm-mm.
very early. It's like
Mhm.
5 a.m. We're actually driving to the
It was
airport.
4:30, but who's
Yes. So
counting?
it was very early. And when we leave, I want to make sure all the lights are off because I don't want to spend any additional money, on lights being left on. So I'm in the car, got it pulled out, I'm waiting for you, and I see that you leave these like inside internal lights on that in
Yes.
my mind I'm like no one would even be able to see those. Like I know what you were doing, going, hey, if someone drives by, I want them to see the lights are on so they think
Yes.
that someone's home. Where the light was, I'm like, no one would even see that. So I'm yelling at her, hey, Erin, shut that light off. And
No.
she's got her arms up going, don't, no, we need to keep these on. It's for safety reasons.
Yes, that when if someone sees the house from the backside, there's lights on, people are home.
Yeah,
So I was
there's a
actually
wall there
protecting
to where no one could
us.
have seen the
I
light.
was protecting us, but we had a differing opinion in this, and we actually navigated it quite well because I was willing to shut one of the lights off, but I kept a couple on, and the house
She
was safe.
turned that one on,
Did you
and I see
notice?
another one pop on, and I'm thinking,
Did you
oh
notice
boy,
that we came home to a safe house? It was safe.
yes.
No one broke in.
And Aaron forgets that we have a smart home and that I can turn off every one of those lights via app.
Oh,
But not that I did.
yes.
We don't. But I tell you why that stands out to me is that there has to be room for
Mhm,
both people inside of your marriage.
mhm,
Erin matters. The fact that she wants those lights on and for her that's a part of creating safety.
mhm.
I didn't see it that way. But if my response is to then try to control her to go, no, I don't want to spend the money. We're turning those lights off. I mean, right. We encounter this stuff all the time in our marriage. And part of what I'm always reminding myself is that Erin matters too.
Mhm.
And if she's a light person, God bless her. It's not
Which
how
I
I
am,
would
a light
show
person.
up, but that's okay. And so part of this, so these little differences, we can always manage by just going, you know what, I wouldn't do it that way.
Mhm,
But Erin is who she is. God created her in an amazing way with all these differences. I love how different Erin is. And I don't want to control her. I don't want to make her into my image. I don't want to transform her to being more like me. Well, if that was true, one of us wouldn't be necessary. It's probably me. And that's why
wrong,
I
but
love these differences.
yes.
And so at one level, you can have that attitude. We both matter,
Mhm,
and let's make room for each other. And then if we need, but let's say that I was really bothered
mhm,
then by this one extra light being on, right? Then we can then work
mhm.
through that issue,
Healthy
right?
conflict,
Yeah.
work through that and figure out something that works for both of
Yes.
us. Because I love that, we both matter.
So those are the three lies. There's more. A good friend of mine, Bob Paul, and I wrote 9 lies that will destroy your marriage. We'll link that below. So there are more, but these are 3 in particular that we see couples really struggling around. Again, the lies are just strategies that sound right, that we think should work. We try to make them work. They just never end up working. Instead, really paying attention to the truth and how God can use that truth to connect you better, to strengthen your relationship. Well, if you found this information helpful, go ahead and comment below. We'd love to hear about what makes sense, maybe what didn't. Maybe there's another lie that you're aware of. You're like, hey, would you guys be willing to talk about this? And we actually have another video in this series that we'll link to above.
If you enjoyed this material, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Focus on the Family Marriage channel, because our heart is to see families thrive in Christ.